All right, so we've gone through the major seventh one. We did, that gave us major scale or Ionian mode, Lydian. Then we did two modes for dominant sevenths, Lydian dominant and Mixolydian. Now we're to minor seventh arpeggio, and I'm just now seeing here. Let me fix this guy. So I thought I'd go ahead and introduce this, and then we'll do Dorian first. But I just want to kind of introduce this so you get an idea of where we're going. So if I were to add this to all these guys, let's see what's going on here. So a Dorian is you take a major scale and flat the third, flat the seventh. It's also been taught that it's like a brighter Aeolian. So maybe I should start with Aeolian. So let's do this. So that would be for flat six, and this would be, you've probably talked about maybe in theory where you have like G, and then the relative minor of G is E minor, right? So those are usually the two common scales you learn up top. So what they'll do is they'll take this, and then they'll brighten this by raising the six, so that gives you a natural six. And then you darken an Aeolian or natural minor by flatting the two. So it's interesting, right? I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, maybe it's boring as hell. But yeah, I feel kind of remiss if I don't kind of like discuss this. So, but if you notice, they all share the same bones, right? It's the same dish. So whatever, I think I use chicken for like dominant, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, you can have fun with it. What kind of food would a minor seventh be? And then what are three recipes? A bright recipe, kind of a regular, and then like kind of a darker one. I don't know. You have to talk to a chef to kind of get that. So that's one way of looking at it. Another way I kind of put it together was, where's my Venn diagram? There we go. I kind of put how they are distinguished from each other. So the Dorian has that. By the way, the dash means I couldn't put flat, so I wanted to do this, but the template thing I was using, there was like a fonts issue that it made it like it did like a B, so that wasn't going to work. So I put a dash equals minor. If I can get it to right, equals minor or flatted, right? So let's get into it. First, we're going to just start off with our arpeggios. So the ceiling on this one, I know there's ways you could play, like you can put your middle finger here, and you could stretch, and that's definitely one way to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. Let me switch the view here so you can kind of, yeah, that's great. There's you can do that across the neck. I think, just as a teacher wanting to give you some focus, I'll let that be your, if you want to do that, great, that's a good side quest. But we're going to start with just our first finger there. So I'm going to move this note from here to there. And you know what? Maybe I should move this down a fret. I wish, eventually I'd like to get a different template here that doesn't have the fret numbers. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. I just had a thought. Okay, I had the idea to white out the fret numbers so it doesn't really matter. So this is third fret, all right? All right, and then we take that, hopefully now that you've done this a few times, I'm not going to explain this as much. I'm just going to kind of go for it. And there's the drawback. Oh boy. Well, see, I tried to get rid of the dots too. But see, now this is going to wreak havoc. Hold on a second. Millennial dealing with technology. All right, we're back. Trying to figure this out as I go. As I've said a million times before, it seems like, I know these are not perfect, and at some point, I might, I'm going to go back and edit these and make them into nice little tight presentations. But for now, maybe these will be useful as is. You can just treat it like you're sitting down and we're having a lesson together. Going over here, you remember we got the B string, so you guessed it, we're going up here. Grab this guy, and yet again. There you go. All right, so now I'm going to do, let's just kind of rotate through those. So again, this is the ceiling. First. Right? Kind of gets that into your hands a little bit, all right? Now let's do the floor. Those are the ones that start with our pinky or our ring finger. Flat 3, 5, flat 7. Now don't panic. I know what you're saying, like, aren't you going to fix it? I sure am. Just the more I do this, the more I'm kind of thinking that, this is more efficient. I know I can do this across the string, or off the screen. I can pause it, but I think it's good for you to kind of see the process here. So you start thinking this way. All right, so that's going to be A minor, pinky on the 5th fret, pinky on the 5th fret, D minor, G minor. All right. So I think that's a good length for this one. So that's a good introductory. All right. So next video, I'm going to add the notes to Dorian, and we're going to go from there. See you on the next one.